Okay. Yeah, so let me share my screen. I prepared. Oh, Gautam, I think you need to enable screen sharing for
Okay,
me.
I will. Is it security? Share screen. All right, you can do
Okay.
it now.
Yes, I can do it now. Great. Thank you,
Great.
Gautam. Right. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello again. And firstly, I would like to tell you a little bit about myself so you know who I am. Obviously, I'm a very good friend of Gautam. That's why I'm here. But I'm also here today to share with you some of my experience in learning how to write in English. Like you, I also studied at Hue University of Foreign Languages, but it was a long time ago. From 2005 to 2009. So Gautam and I, we were in the same cohort. So we were studying together we were in different classes. I was in class 2A, right, Gautam? And
I'm in 2C.
You were in 2C, that's right.
2C, yeah.
Yeah, and we were the second cohort, right? We were the second cohort. So what is the class this year? Is it 20? So we were
they are 19. They are 19.
19. Wow,
yeah,
19
so
already.
18
19.
years have passed.
Wow, I feel so old now. So I graduated at the same time with Gautam in 2009. There's a small photo of my class back then.
Oh.
Yeah, on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see this is a photo of me and my class English 2A.
Where were you last time?
We were in this photo. We were having a picnic. Yes, at Huyền Không Sơn Thượng.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, because we took a lot of trips during that time. Apart from studying, we also occasionally we went out of the city visited some of those places like Huyền Không Sơn Thượng, Thiên Mục Pagoda. We also went to Thuận An Beach once. Yeah, okay. So after graduating from Hue University of Foreign Languages, Gautam and I, we started working together at the university as well. From 2009 to 2017, that was when I was teaching at the university, and then I went on to do my master's and my PhD in TESOL in a city called Brisbane in Australia. And I am now based in Manchester, working at Manchester Metropolitan University. But Gautam and I, we both had very similar starting points. We were both English language students at university and studying to become English teachers. So English writing has become a very important part of our learning journey, right, Gautam? Okay, so I think in the next 10 minutes or so, I would just like to share with everybody, because you are all learning about English writing in this course with Gautam. And I thought I would just like to share with you some of my experiences in learning how to write in English, and hopefully some of the things that I share will be useful for you as you practice writing in this course with Gautam and in the future as well. Okay, so one thing about my learning to write in English journey is that it's quite a challenging journey, to be honest. It happens in small steps, and if I may say, it's also a very slow process of writing, of learning how to write and putting together words to make sentences, and then sentences to make paragraphs, and paragraphs to make essays. So everything happens in very small steps. I find that I've been learning how to write in English in very small steps like that, and it happens with a lot of time and effort as well. And that includes a lot of practice in writing, a lot of incorrect sentence structures and vocabulary choices in the beginning, and then a lot of feedback from my teachers, and of course my peers, and Gautam was one of the best learning buddies, learning friends that I had. And I think my English learning writing journey also involves and requires a lot of discipline on my part, because writing is not easy. Sometimes it could be quite it's sometimes I along the way I felt it was so challenging, and my writing wasn't good at all, and it at some point it was quite disappointing, and so I needed to have some kind of discipline to motivate myself to keep learning and to keep developing my writing skills. So that requires some discipline in my experience.
Excuse me.
I'm not quite sure if
I have a question.
yes,
What
yes,
does it
Gautam.
mean by discipline?
Discipline means I would have to sometimes force myself to do a writing task, even though I don't quite like it.
That happens.
Yeah, and it's not just about starting a writing task, but also to keep writing until I become better, and to when I receive feedback on my writing from my teachers. It requires some discipline as well in order for me to look back at my previous writing and to make some revisions, because that's not always an interesting thing to do. So it requires some kind of discipline. That's what I meant.
Thank you.
I'm not. Does anyone experience some similar things when you learn how to write as well? Did you find that it takes a lot of time and effort for you when learning how to write in English?
Cấm Thi Hương, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to share my story a little bit. It's just I think I have some trouble with like writing out my ideas. And when I write an essay, it's just limited in like 200 or 300 words. But when I have some idea, it's just like I think I need more than those limited words to explain things clearly.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think I get what you mean, Thuy Hương. I think it probably depends on what topic you're writing about, right? If it's a topic that you really like, then you may feel, well, I need more than 200 or 300 words. But if it's a topic that is a bit distant or a bit unusual, or something you probably don't quite like, then maybe it's a bit hard to find ideas. Is that right?
Yes. And I know that to improve my writing skills, I need to practice a lot, but I don't think for writing, we're not only practice, but I need someone to fix my essays and to correct my mistakes, when I was learning for the IELTS exam, I have my teachers to following my progress, but now when I finish the test, and I still want to improve my writing skill, and just I have no teachers.
Right. I'm
Yeah.
going to come to that point that you just made, Hương,
Yeah.
with some of the tips that I'll be sharing very shortly, because I think you probably will learn a thing or two from what I'm going to share now. So hopefully some of those tips will be useful for you, right?
Yes, thank you.
Thanks so much, Hương, for sharing your very I think true and interesting story about learning how to write with us. Okay, so so before I share my tips, I would just like to say that after several years of learning and using English, I'm still in the process of learning how to write all the time, because writing is a skill that has to be learned. Well, it's different from speaking. For example, if you are born in, for example, in a particular language environment, you tend to pick up the language very, very quickly in terms of speaking. But in terms of writing, everybody has to learn how to write, even if the person is a native speaker of a language. So that makes writing quite a special skill, and also it's like a difficult skill to learn and to become good at as well. So if you find yourselves still somehow struggling with learning how to write in English, and also with writing well in English, it's a very normal process of learning. So for me, my best tip for becoming better at writing in English is to practice, practice, and practice. The more you practice writing, the better you will become. And this kind of practice involves not just writing because cô Tâm asked you to write in the class or as part of the assignment. It also involves writing at your own time for your own development. For me, I found it quite when I was learning writing about, like when I was at your where you are now, when I was in first and second year of university, I found it quite useful to keep a diary and a journal, and to write every day in English about things that happened in my life. So that was one way for me to practice writing in a very free and interesting way for myself. So when I was keeping that diary or journal, I wrote about topics that I really liked. So things like what I liked about a movie that I watched, or a review of the book that I read recently. So those topics motivated me to write in English, and also because I was under no pressure to really write well for that diary or for that journal entry. I didn't have to worry so much about how well how good my writing is. So that's one benefit of writing for yourself like that. However, as Hương also mentioned earlier, we also need some kind of feedback on our writing if we want to make a lot of improvement. And so apart from teachers' feedback from teachers, which is extremely useful, but it doesn't happen that it's not always that you have feedback from your teachers or on all pieces of your writing all the time, because teachers are busy and they have to take care of several students at the same time. So another thing that I also find useful is to find a friend to practice writing with, and someone who's probably in the same class or at the same level of English level with you, and then you could exchange your writing with them and to provide feedback on each other's writing. And that's a really useful way to practice writing and to receive feedback on your writing. Or if you can't find, if it's hard to find a friend, you know, at your, I don't think it's hard to find a friend to practice with in the same class, right, Gautam? Because you have a lot of interaction, you take a lot of classes together. So hopefully, if you really want, you'll be able to find someone to practice your writing with. Or another way to find a friend to practice writing with is to perhaps join some like Facebook communities where you have you may have some kind of opportunities to share your English learning experiences with a group of friends from, you know, other parts of the country or from other neighboring countries as well. I know there are a lot of Facebook online Facebook learning English learning communities like that. And if you just, you know, write a post sharing or asking about tips to learn how to write, I'm sure you will have a lot of responses from friends from different places on Facebook. And then they write you comments, they write back, and you write back. That's one way for you to practice writing with an audience. Okay, and I think my my final tip is related to the role of reading in improving our writing skills, because many people say writing comes from reading, and reading is the finest teacher of how to write. I'm not quite sure if you have thought about the role of reading in improving writing skills, but for me, I think it's really reading is probably one of the best teachers for me in terms of learning how to write. And there are a few reasons actually why reading can help us with refining our writing skills. I've come across this this online article that explains quite well some of the reasons why reading helps writing. So I'd like to share with you five things that reading can help with our writing. The first thing is you get ideas from for your own writing by reading, and it really is really useful, especially if, for example, you come across a writing topic that you don't know really much about. It's essential to do some reading in order to gain some ideas that would help you structure your writing and make your writing piece an interesting one. So through reading, we get a lot of useful ideas for our writing. The second way that reading is useful is we learn a lot about the different techniques of writing through reading. Especially many people say a good reading text could become a good model for writing. And for myself, I've learned a lot of useful expressions, useful phrases, useful word choices, and also sentence structures from reading different kinds of texts, different genres. And what I often do when I read as well, in order to help with my writing, is to copy some interesting expressions and phrases from a text that I read and try and use them later on in my writing. So it's one way for me to learn the technique of writing through reading. The third hang on, let me just close the door.
Oh, it's from your side.
Yeah, it's from my side, sorry. It's my daughter running around.
Hello to Minh Thành.
Okay, yeah. The third way that I find reading useful is it improves our vocabulary a lot. And yes, when our vocabulary improves, it's really a much easier job to find words to express what we want to say in our writing. And the fourth way that reading is useful is that for writing is that it helps us to become familiar with different writing styles. For example, when you write a comparison paragraph or like a descriptive paragraph or like an argumentative essay, and you read those different writing texts that have that are about comparison, that are about argumentation, then it helps you to become really familiar with how to write in different genres and different kinds of texts. And finally, reading inspires us to write. For me, I find that if once I've oftentimes after I finish reading a text, I tend to really want to write something, to either to respond to the text or to to demonstrate the different writing techniques and skills that I've learned from a particular reading text. So for all of these reasons, I really encourage everybody to read as much as you can in order to improve your writing skills. Okay.
There's a question from Marjan.
Oh yes, I can see that now. How do you improve your listening and speaking skills? Oh well, that's it's a big question, right? Yes. Right. Okay. Because we focus. This is a writing course, so we focus on developing our writing skills. But for other skills, well, I wish we could have like a separate session for it. But I think if I have to answer that question in a very quick way, then I would also say a lot of practice as well. Practice. I think with a lot of English language or language skills in general, practice is the key to becoming better. Okay.
Cannot agree with you more.
It takes a lot of practice, right, Gautam?
Time and effort and passion.
And passion, that's
yeah.
right. And inspiration and discipline.
Discipline, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so those are some of my quick tips. So my final wish is, I hope everybody enjoys your English writing experiences and journeys, and not just writing, but also your with other skills as well. Yeah, with a lot of, as long as you do a lot of practice and you spend time, you make a lot of effort, and you discipline yourself, you try and make yourself do the work or do the practice, then yeah, over time you will become better.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Any questions about learning how to write, or anyone would like to share your experiences in learning writing or other skills as well?
I have a question. If we write daily, it's like you just write about the casual topics, but do you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
We just write casual topics every day, but when it comes to the academic topics, like in the test, or like when you write an essay in your college, then how would you handle with those topics, with those that you've ever heard of, and like you barely even know about that?
I think there's some
Yeah,
weak
I think there's some
connection. Some technical problem.
Yeah.
But maybe while we are waiting for Kumai, then I will answer you first. So I know there's a big difference between our journaling ideas and our real writing in tests and exams. But again, I would like to focus on the practice thing. So you practice both. You practice
Yeah.
daily journaling, and then you can use what you write in your journals as an example, or some some reason or some justifications in your academic writing. And sometimes you can force yourself to write about academic topic in your journals. You don't have to write about everyday topics in your journal. You can write big things.
Yeah, I do have
Yeah.
I do have interest in some of the fields, but not all of them. Like, like for example, I don't like science, so I never read about science. And if I'm forced to write an essay about science or things like that, I would
I know.
my
have
essay
been
would be
there.
very cringe, and I can't come up with any idea for that topic.
I have been there a lot of times, and
Yeah.
I think that happens to everyone, not just you.
Right.
But sometimes, like if you cannot write about science every day, then you can write about it like once every 2 months. At least you write once, and then you get better, and then you get inspired, and then you think that it's not as difficult as you thought, and then you can keep on going, and from once every 2 months, then when you feel more interested, you can write every month, and then every week. Yeah, so just like get closer bit by bit. What do you what will you tell her, Mai?
Are we talking
Okay.
about writing topics?
Yes, writing
Yeah,
topics
yeah,
for
yeah.
everyday practice, and for test preparation.
Oh, yeah, because it's Hương, you made a very good point there, because when I said, for example, if you keep an English diary and you write about things that you like, then it motivates you to write. But what if you're in an exam, a writing test, and the topic isn't something that you like? For example, you said science is not what you like writing about. I think I've been there, like what Gautam said as well. I was doing an IELTS writing test, and the task 2 topic was about, I think it was an argumentative essay about whether or not we should allow mercy killing in animals. So, for example, if an animal is too sick or too ill, would it be ethical or acceptable if we give them like a mercy shot, and so that they die in peace? And I absolutely had no idea about that topic at all. It was just a very, a topic that I didn't have so much knowledge of. And honestly, I didn't do well in that writing task.
Yes, I experienced that too, because
Yeah.
I took the IELTS exam last year.
Yeah.
And I got quite an impressive writing bench, but I think that just because my text too was about I don't remember exactly, but it's about a social topic. It's not like anything about business or science. Yeah, but I'm thinking about taking the test next year.
Okay.
Yeah, which means my second time, and I'm really nervous. Like, my last time was lucky, but what if next time is not like, it's not as lucky as as I did?
Yeah, and something that I think is what is more important, however, Hương, is that that it's for when we write in English, oftentimes except for tests or exams, oftentimes we will get to write about what we feel passionate about. So tests and exams are very exceptional cases where we are given a topic to write. But if you want to practice your writing skills, I still think that it's important that you write about something that you are passionate about first, and then that will give you some sort of confidence, and over time you feel okay, you have a lot of skills and a lot of techniques to write well, no matter what topics you may come across. So it takes time and a lot of practice.
Yes, lately I've been reading a lot and also take some practicing, but I think I need more time. Thank you for your sharing.
Yeah, I think everybody, we all have been in that situation. So yes, it's all part of the learning process. But I can assure you, if you are going to be an English teacher, or you need to be an English interpreter or translator, then you develop your writing passion with the topics that you will be quite interested in, not those that you don't feel passionate about.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you a lot.
Yeah.
Bây giờ còn 4 phút 30 giây nữa là sẽ hết 40 phút Zoom. Cho
Yeah.
nên
Any
là
other questions?
mình có thể nói một chút tiếng Huế không? Có
Bây giờ
nghĩ
chị có
là
nói tiếng Huế chứ
đó.
các bạn thì
tại vì cô Mai là rất chi là Huế, cho nên là cô hy vọng các bạn được nghe tiếng Huế của cô Mai. Để
các bạn có thắc mắc hay có cảm nghĩ gì nữa không?
sau bao nhiêu năm xa xứ, các bạn ở ngoài tỉnh cũng có thể là đặt câu hỏi để mà nghe. Nếu mà cô Mai nói tiếng Huế mà khó hiểu quá, các bạn chưa hiểu thì cô có thể hỗ trợ dịch. Bây giờ các bạn có ai có câu hỏi gì mà nãy giờ mình còn ngại chưa hỏi không? Mình tranh thủ hỏi hết.
Dạ, em ạ.
Rồi, xin mời Yến Vy.
I live in a remote area, so my family is not rich enough to in order to help me to learn an IELTS exam. So, do you think it is necessary for everyone to learn and have an IELTS certification?
All right. Okay. So the IELTS, I think the IELTS certificate is only very useful or required if you are going to study abroad in an English-speaking country, and you need to prove your English language proficiency. It's only in that case that an IELTS certificate is needed. But for just
graduation,
yeah,
we need C1 level.
That's
C1
right.
level for
C1
English
level,
majors.
right? But an IELTS certificate is not required, right?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, but even when you don't plan to study abroad, it may be useful to still do some IELTS exercises, but you don't have to take the exam if you don't need the certificate for studying abroad or for like any official requirements. And good English learning is not about getting a high IELTS score at all. It's mainly about your own effort again, and your own practice and your own investment of time in practicing the language. So I don't think it would be a disadvantage in any way if you don't study for an IELTS, because there are a lot of different English language learning materials out there apart from the IELTS that will help you learn. So Cô Tâm and I, we didn't have any IELTS practice, right, Cô Tâm? When we were learning English.
We practiced like TOEFL.
Oh
TOEFL
yeah, some
TOEIC
TOEFL
or something like that.
exercises. Yeah, but we didn't really. We tried and just have as much.
We try to complete every exercise in our book, and we learned. However easy it may seem, it gives us a lot of good vocabulary and like structure to write, for example, a paragraph. We
That's
begin
right.
just small like that.
Yeah, exactly.
small, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yep. Thanks for your question. I think that's all the time we have.
Oh yeah, less than 1
Yeah.
minute.
Okay.
So
Yep. Thank you for inviting me to your class and for all your questions, everybody. And again,
thank
I
you
wish you
so
all the
much.
best.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for your time. Have a great
Thanks, everybody.
day
Yep.
and good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Enjoy your English learning experiences.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, cô Tâm.
Bye. I will talk to you later.
Okay, we'll talk later.